like, when they like said that, like, I saw the trailer and I was little. I was like, oh my god, me too. I was like, I was so scared to see it. And then we saw it, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, they went with it and they ran with it instead of.
Instead, like trying to pretend like it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I was like, please don't exactly. So it was good.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, so it was fun. So it was like a lot of fun. And my family got to see it. Yep, I got to die.
Love it. Awesome.
I got like impaled. Yep. Literally. I'm like, that's the thing. I'm like, wait, can I have that footage of everything? I'm like, I'll get to do something. But yeah, no, so it was fun. It was fun getting to like see it in like a movie theater here in New York and whatever. And I was like, that's so it was just 2 days ago. It's New York, I guess, or whatever, for the Big Apple Film Festival. So it was at Look Cinema. It was in like 57th Street. Cinema movie theater there. Yeah.
That's so sick.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. And so we'll see where it goes. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, hopefully first of many that we'll see in a movie, but you know, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm excited for you. You got a good one.
And your song's coming out soon, isn't it?
Tonight?
Tonight?
12 a.m. Yeah.
How do you feel?
I'm so excited. It's like a dream.
I've listened to all the clips of it, like all the little teasers, and I'm like, I'm obsessed for it.
It's like a sad girl cinematic opera.
I'm like, that's amazing. I literally told Spencer, he was like, what music do you, because he was like trying to like, he's like, so what music do you like do you? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I know a lot of sad girls. I'm like, my music is great. Like, I'm not gonna lie. That's perfect. I love it.
No, it's so exciting. Like, I've literally always wanted to do it. And then this class was like I feel like I got slapped across the face.
I just walked in.
All the
grapes go to my door.
How long were you from like writing it?
I wrote it like 2 months ago.
I don't know what's
I
don't wake up tomorrow.
And then I was like occasionally going to my producer and doing it like every 2 years.
Gotcha.
And finally like was solidified.
It's all after today, yeah. It's tomorrow and then Friday. You guys are just
And then I'm just going to try to
yeah.
the person actually is like apparently someone in my family has like person who produces songs to movies.
Oh my god, no idea.
I've never heard it, and I'm just gonna try to
Get it, like, get it out there. I'm like,
yeah.
That's so sick. That's so sick.
Yeah.
Throw the line in the water.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I know. That's so sick. That's like such a great way, obviously, for such a great year.
Like,
Yeah. And you like find you find a song. I like that's actually really interesting. Every time I listen to music so differently now, because like now that I've been in class and whatever, I'm like I hear songs and I'm like,
what
would you see like in a cold read?
Yeah.
And, like, it just makes me so I can imagine like you have a job like that. Your brain must think like, oh, this would be great to see. Like your brain is like
A little thing I want to try and do is like do like an Instagram series of like funniest scenes and music to it, and then writing a song.
Yeah.
Or like the best score ever.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good.
I rewatched like all those movies when I was babysitting my little cousin who's now older. But like, he was like, I was like, I rewatched Tarzan. I was crying at the movie. I was like, it's so good.
I'm gonna blast that shit.
Oh my god, I know. Now I'm like thinking about it like, damn. Like I need to get Disney and rewatch her thing now. Because like that, I remember sitting there and he was like 3, and I was just like crying at the movie. He was just like playing or whatever. And I'm like,
so differently.
so how was it? Yeah.
And I like 2 minutes.
I've watched a lot of movies I've never watched.
I was with second graders, so
In a very different way. I love that. You know, I would be so messed up. I would imagine that exact setting would be Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's a messed up movie. And I didn't realize until I was older. And it was like murder. Setting fire to people's houses with them inside. He's lusting after this woman. I'm like,
It's disgusting.
I'm like, how is this a kid's film? I'm like, that's crazy. This is not a kid's film.
That's why we are the way we are.
That is. It explains a lot, to be honest. But, you know, at the same time, I'm like, I still today, I'm like, I need to see Moana too. I'm like, I gotta see it. I'm like, because Moana's so cute, and I'm like, the little things
You
she little
would
kids in.
like done Moana for how long?
I have not actually. Maybe I'll do it at some point. But literally, like, I have to do all the little workshops with little kids sometimes. Like, 'cause I do it like every semester, and so like they love all the Disney. We just did Aladdin, so it's like re-listening all the music and everything. I was like, yes, Aladdin, but we did Moana, so I'm like, I feel like I'm staying up to date on some of these because I'm like, you do all these little, exactly. I'm in with the cool like 8-year-olds. Yeah, that's my age. Yeah, that's right. It is, because I'm definitely not in with the cool like 20-year-olds. I feel like some of the things they say, I'm like, what? Yeah, I have no idea what any of this anymore. Any of the new lingo, I'm like so out of it.
I don't want to know it. It makes me mad. I don't know.
Yeah, some of it I hear and I'm just like, this is gonna be. I'm like one of those things like we're gonna look back on in 10 years and be like, ew, how embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, do you hear what you're saying?
What did we used to say? We were like, it's like that's how cringy it is. It's like rawr.
Yeah, true. Because I'm like, otherwise we just like, I feel like we shorten things. I had a friend who was always having things like totes or like things like that. That was big for a minute there, for sure. But I'm like, Riz and like all these things. I'm like, some of these we're gonna look back at. And
I like Riz. Like she's got one.
It sounds like it came from the 80s. Like that's like 80s slang.
The 80s are coming back.
They are, yeah.
They are, and I'm so happy about it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I want shoulder pads.
They are. Yeah, I'm like, give me the thing. Like, that's what I want. No, yeah, I actually just saw him for lunch today. He's been like, he was crazy.
Is this where LMA people are sitting?
And like,
Okay,
Those are blocked off ultimately for table work.
gotcha. Are you guys all in?
yes.
I understand. I understand. Break a leg.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah.
Money, I get it.
He's been like literally like morning shifts at Harvest and then running at night to cater it. And I'm like, you're in the British. And he's like,
He goes into did he tell you about the time?
yeah. I'm like, you sometimes, and that's what I was saying. He's like, no, this time you're looking at the money and so you go. I'm like, yeah. He refuses to yeah, he does, and that's what I've been trying to tell. I'm like, you should take this up. Because I think this last week got too crazy. This last week was pretty crazy. Last week was my crazy week. So we were like ships passing in the day. I was like in a TYA.
Like, okay, bye.
Yeah, literally. I was
Like, hey, I'm alive.
yeah, there was literally one day where, oh my gosh, hi.
Oh, hi. Come on. Hey, cat baby.
How are you? Good to see you. Oh, yeah? Yeah, I'm obsessed. I'm down, honestly.
Yeah, like
We need some more about it. That's what I was saying. But yeah.
Exactly.
I know. I've done one or two in class, but I'm like, it's not like, I'm like a good one. I'm like, junior band. Yeah. Like, well, just like queer scenes. We have to do queer female scenes. And so I was like, so I pitched. He does like the roller derby play. That one, I did that one. But I'm like, we need something more. So I pitched a gender bend Romeo and Juliet. So we're gonna do it, I think, next semester. To start off the semester. So I'm like, that'd be fun.
I'm trying to like get my little foot in the door for that one.
Yeah. No, you're not play. I was just like, give this to me. My place. I'm like, I know there are a few people that would be down, and I mentioned your name, I mentioned your name. So I was like, I mentioned a few people. Oh, really? I don't really know. I feel like you never asked me that. It's like, what do you want to do, Romeo or Juliet? And it's like, I don't know. I'm like, whoever Matt thinks. That's what I'm gonna be. I think you go to like science. Because I feel like that big house was Each character. When's the movie?
You got that in you, no doubt.
Oh, for sure. So simply.
Hi, everybody. I could do a dry run of this, but oh well. Hi, for those of you who don't know, I am Trevor Markanovic, creative director of MCS. And I also had the privilege and honor of being director of tonight's solo show, Chronic Responsibility. Thank you all for coming. Just a few quick preliminary things that you've heard a million times before, but in the unlikely event of an emergency, the two exits are right there where you came in, and this door right here. And then I want to make sure I get this exactly right, what Bianca wanted me to tell you. Let's see. Please feel free to take photo and video. But for the love of all that is holy, this is a direct quote, for the love of all that is holy on this planet, turn off your flash. Flash is very distracting to our performers. We do have live musicians as well. And we want to make sure that you get the most undistracted performance possible. That's about it. We're going to get started. So thank you all for coming to Chronic Responsibility. We're going to start the show.
Yeah! I'm awkward. My best friend's a cat. My head's not really meant for hats. Yeah, I'm awkward. I have 2 left feet. I often say the word yeet. But can't you see how being ordinary is something that I never could? I'm awkward, but hey. Awkward is alcohol allergy, too much reality TV. Yeah, I'm awkward. Sometimes call me not Bumble, but me. Awkward. Screaming into the void is sometimes the only choice. Awkward. Turn me way up to drown out the noise. Speak really loud, stand out in the crowd by going way under over the dress code. Oh, I'm stuck in the friend zone, but hey, that's me, and baby, awkward is the only way I know how to be. I'm not crazy, I'm just a little bit awkward. I want a kiss, I often make a face like this. Yeah, I'm awkward. If I were a cat, I would say hiss. Really loud, stand out in the crowd by going right under over the dress code. Always in crazy mode, stuck in the friend zone. But hey, that's me, and being awkward is the only way I know how to be. I'm not crazy, I'm just a little bit awkward. Don't have too many friends, but the fun never ends. Yeah, I'm awkward. I got so many problems you could not comprehend. But can you see how being ordinary is something that I never could? I'm awkward, but hey, awkward is good. Awkward is good. Awkward is which, by the way, has nothing and also everything to do with the show this evening, 15 years ago. Yeah, I started writing it at the age of 12 years old and just finished it this year at the age of 27. So it took me 15 years. That's honestly a great turnaround for me. The fact that it took 15 years, at least it's written, you know? Really, what this number tells me is that the productivity of Bianca is at an all-time high. I will say hi to you all, and welcome to Product Responsibility. Continue. Please be vocal and involved in your theatrical experience. Good. Holler, praise Jesus. If I say something funny, you may laugh. If I say something sad, you may cry. Yes. If you need to pee or leave during the show for any reason, please do. You may miss something very profound and excellent, but there is nothing more truly profound and excellent than emptying your bladder when you need to. These are the only rules. Let us continue. But allow me, yes, to introduce myself for those of you that don't know me. My name is Bianca Barragan, which translates to white strongman. Bianca means white. Barragan means strong. And thus you have me. I have a certificate and everything. I'll show you later. Yes, I use she, they pronouns. I am an actor, a musician, a singer, a comedian, a teacher, and I have gathered you all here this evening to educate, to inspire, to sing, to laugh, to learn, to cry, to listen, to collect data, to bear witness, and to discuss the craziness of living with a chronic illness and how, with a chronic illness, comes great chronic responsibility. And what those chronic responsibilities even are, well, we will find out together. I'm the one who coined this phrase, by the way. It was me who came up with it, no one else. One day, my mother was complaining about all the exercises she had to remember to take care of her neck injury, and I said, yes, mother. With a chronic illness comes great chronic responsibility. Yeah. Oh, yes, I almost forgot. Most importantly, we are here to hold space and to share about chronic illnesses, because I am sick and tired of hiding and being secretive about mine. Being an artist has given me a major chronic responsibility to share, and I want to share the full Bianca, all the truth, from beginning to end. And I hope through my story, my chronic illness siblings out there can know that I see you. Oh, Lord, do I see you? Yes. And perhaps you, the normie, who does not have a chronic illness, can learn a thing or two about mine, and thus myself. #connection. Well, I'm actually pretty sure that there are many of us here that do have a chronic illness. Did you know that over 60% of the population lives with at least one chronic illness? Yeah. So here's got one of those. Well, actually, before you answer, let us define what a chronic illness is, which the CDC defines as conditions that last 1 year or more and require ongoing medical attention or limit activities of daily living, or both. Please also know that according to the CDC, mental illnesses like depression and anxiety are also considered chronic illnesses. So yeah, show of hands. Who has got one of those? Yeah, everyone. Yes. Yeah. Duh. And I'm sure that you can agree that your chronic illness has given you oodles of chronic responsibility to your health, mental, physical, life, other things, because it's never just one thing, people. Chronic illness it's debilitating, it's isolating, it's hard, it's not cute, and it has shaped my entire life tremendously. So let us get ready to dive a little deeper. Yes. It didn't really become clear to me until the 2020 pandemic times that my chronic illness had such an impact on my life. And it really wasn't until the beginning of this year that I started to decipher what my chronic illness means to me. I spent the beginning of this year and 27 years before that really just hiding and angry and hurt and in so much pain. But to the pain, I say no more. That is enough. That is quite enough. So let us get into what my chronic illness even is, which leads me to the second polling of the room. Lots of data we're collecting today, people. Now, very carefully, oh so very carefully, you must listen to this next question. Whomst here among us does not, I repeat, does not menstruate? Yes, good, be brave. Be brave, yes, very good. And of those people, and those people only, do you know what these are? Be brave, yes, oh Tim, yes.
Yeah.
What are these, Tim?
Those are pads with wings.
Good. Yes, they are with wings. This is correct, but you're also wrong. Very, very wrong, because what these are the only pads that Bianca can use when Bianca is on her period. For if Bianca does not use these exact pads, Bianca will bleed all over you. Why? Oh, why do you ask? Because the chronic illness that Bianca has causes intense menstrual bleeding. So much so that I go through one whole pack of these in a matter of 5 days. Sometimes a little bit more. The chronic illness that Bianca has is something called endometriosis. And if you do a little quick Googly search, you'll find many definitions of endometriosis, but I find this one to be the most thorough and all-encompassing. Endometriosis, a disorder in which tissue, similar to the tissue that lines the uterus, grows outside the uterus in places where it doesn't belong. This tissue thickens, breaks down, and bleeds with each period, but the blood has no way to leave the body and becomes trapped. Painful periods are common with endometriosis. Also common is heavy bleeding or pain during sex or when having a bowel movement or urinating. Having trouble getting pregnant is also common with endometriosis. Pain medication and hormone therapy may ease symptoms. Now, let me put that into my own words, paraphrase, if you will. For I am no plagiarizer, and I don't want to get points taken off, or worse, expelled. Bianca's definition of endometriosis: a disease characterized by painful, heavy menstruation, and no one knows why the fuck it happens because no one has taken the time to study in depth the female body. The disease includes feeling pain all the time, feeling sudden, sharp, intense pain for no known reason, never feeling 100% okay in your body, not hitting romantic milestones in your 20s, like losing your virginity because your pelvis is inflamed, hating your entire existence, leading you to turn to drinking, and then ultimately leading you to become an actor. That's fine. I can tell that some of us are shocked, confused, perhaps, that this can happen in one's body. So a diagram I will draw, and through the diagram I will explain. But what you must understand is that endometriosis, like all uterine diseases, is heavily under-researched, and that research is heavily underfunded. So the causes of endometriosis are really just like theories and hypotheses, and the general vibe among doctors is, I don't really know. But yes, what I will draw in this diagram is one of the leading theories as to how it works. In America, in New Zealand and Australia, where they actually put money into research for this disease, they reject this theory entirely. But I am so serious when I say no one knows what is going on. So, if you look to my diagram here, yes, the person with, this is a uterus, the person with endometriosis bleeds once a month during the cycle of menstruation. But there is so much blood that accumulates, again, for no known reason. And there's so much blood that accumulates that it starts to retrograde flow out of the uterus and deposit all over the body, in the hips, in the upper thighs, in the abdomen. I read an article once where they found this deposited tissue all the way up in someone's brain. Well, actually, endometriosis tissue has been found on every single major organ in the body. And now that this tissue is deposited outside of the uterus, it still thinks it's in the uterus because it's dumb. And it's like, oh, I can do my job. Let me do my job, please. When it's time to bleed in the cycle of menstruation, the deposited tissue bleeds all over the internal organs and all inside a person's body, becoming trapped, solidifying into lesions, which can flare up with stress from exercise or stress from everyday life, and causing what can only be described as excruciating pain. This is the disease that I have. More importantly, this disease affects 1 out of 10 people with uteruses in the world. And now that research is showing that it's more like 3 out of 10 or even 4 out of 10. You know someone who has endometriosis. I mean, me, obviously. But you also know someone else, right? Multiple someones. Hell, you might even have it yourself. You also know someone who has a chronic illness that they have kept or currently keep secret because it's taboo, or because they are ashamed, or just because they are exhausted from trying to survive each day to try to explain to you the complicated shit that's happening in their body. But again, tonight we are breaking through all of that, because all of that holding back has not been good for my chronic illness. So isolated. So hashtag not connected. So really, this show is just for my own health and wellness. Really, this is for me. Oh, yes, thank you. But it's also for you. It's for us. Hashtag connection. Yes, now the story of my chronic illness is as follows. I got my period at the most brilliant age of 9 years old. Yeah, and it was wild. It was 3 weeks after this picture was taken on my 4th grade picture day that my life changed forever. It was a crisp fall October day when I first got my period. My mom was dropping my sister off at a birthday party, and then we were going to go to a soccer practice, because yes, I was an elementary school soccer star. And I asked to use the bathroom at the birthday party, and I found to my surprise that there was a surprise for me. And I was like, this certainly cannot be happening. Like, I know people said that it would happen because I started going through puberty at the age of 5, but like this idea of blood leaving your vagina at age 9 is like preposterous to me and does not feel real. So I'll just ignore it. But then I got really scared. You see, the biggest driving factor that led me down my eventual path of depression in my earlier 20s was that I did not want to be different. And blood leaving vaginas at age 9 is like peak different. It does not get much more different than that. So as we were walking to the car, I told my mom, and the last thing I wanted to happen happened. We turned around, went back into the birthday party, and my mom asked the birthday mom for a pad and made this whole big deal about, oh, she's a woman now. Like so many adults after I got my period were like, oh, you're a woman now, Bianca. Isn't that ridiculous? What does that even mean? Because if being a woman means painful bleeding from vaginas at age 9 that could one day turn into a baby if some sperm and a penis came along to change up the cycle of menstruation, then I don't want to be a woman. I want to be Bianca. But over the course of my 4th grade year, it became very clear to me that in order to be Bianca, I had to be a 9-year-old woman and carry the burden of all the things that went with that. After my first period ended, it also became very clear to me that I had to be secretive about my new secret, about my newfound womanhood, as to not disturb or upset or confuse my fellow 9-year-old classmates. Because for those of you that don't know, it was like so rare back in 2007 for 9-year-olds to get their period. It's more of a thing now because, you know, those good old American GMOs and hormones and the poor stress these children are living under this day and age. And also apparently it's just more prevalent in African American communities, as if we didn't have enough to deal with already. Anyway, I had to keep my new secret secret. Like, keep it to myself and only myself. Don't even tell your best friend. Don't tell a single soul, and stuff that shit way deep down inside. Definitely exacerbating the chronic illness that was taking hold. I had to keep that kind of secret, and that was proving to be impossible. Mostly because I, as a 9-year-old, had like no understanding of what it meant to take care of your menstrual cycle, how many pads you should wear in a day, what size pad, right? Don't wear clothes that are too uncomfortable or make leaking easier. And oh Lord, that one was difficult because I leaked a lot. Bled all over my 4th grade classroom carpet once during reading time. And that was because I had the telltale signs of endometriosis, heavy. Oh, and I do mean heavy period flow. So much so that now must only use these and only these until the end of time. I did get better at dealing with my secret though, concealing it, and thus concealing the parts of my very, very excellent self. Like, oh yes, like when I would be on my period and have to go to school, I would put my pads in a brown purse that I would take to the bathroom. And when someone would ask me what they were, I would be like, nothing. This is nothing. Nothing at all. One time when a boy asked me, I just kicked him in the shin. Because I didn't know what else to do. One day, though, it got so unbearable not to tell anyone, I had to tell someone. So, as we were sitting on the carpet for that classic elementary school reading time, I shouted out, I have my period! To which everyone gasped, and one boy hysterically laughed in my face. I ran out into the hallway crying. My teacher quickly had to do some damage control, and she told me that she told everyone that I have the thing at the end of my sentence. I'm good at punctuation. That seemed to do the trick of keeping the other 9-year-olds in their blissful ignorance while I got to stay in special 9-year-old adult land. Why did everyone get to be sheltered but me? Why did I have to be a woman at 9 while others got to be 9 at 9 and not have to worry about bleeding everywhere for a 5-day period once a month? Elementary school quickly ended with some semblance of my budding Bianca-ness intact. Yes. And then it was time to move on to middle school. I remember very much looking forward to middle school. I was eager to take on higher learning and excited to even audition for the very popular and somewhat incestuous school play. I was also very excited to not stick out anymore. In elementary school, in addition to keeping a very secret, everyone was also terrified of me. I was 5'8" by the age of 10 and already burdened with the responsibility of my own fertility. I was so ready to just be normal, to just sit in class like everyone else and just blend in. I do remember not being so thrilled about gym class or physical education, as we were routinely corrected to say. Everyone knows that the town pool is connected to the middle school, but what a lot of people don't know is that those esteemed physical education teachers like to use that pool for some of their gym classes. I don't think it's exactly fair to force maturing girls and boys to swim around in ill-fitting swimsuits in front of each other. It's also not exactly fair that 1 in 10,000 girls goes through puberty before the age of 8, and that I, scary 5'8" Bianca, happen to be the chosen one. I do remember feeling a sense of dread when my first gym class in the pool lined up with my period. And I guess that morning, when I leapt into the pool, overflown tampon and all, was supposed to be one of those like life-changing moments where I discover who I truly am. Like my brain was supposed to say, oh, it's all right, Bianca, because this is life, and it's messy, and beautiful, and filled with menstruation. But that is not what my brain said. As the blood from my confused body colored the water around me red, all I could hear my brain say was, see, you aren't human. And I'm smart. I'm very smart. I like to take ideas and logically extrapolate off of them, so my smart brain concluded that if I weren't human, then perhaps it would be best if I didn't exist. My mother didn't really know what to do with that information. My father, bless his twisted heart, told me that I shouldn't say those kinds of things because then someone might actually believe me. So I returned to school, shut my mouth, and kept going. Kept going through those 3 years and into high school, telling my best friends in the 9th grade that I didn't want to exist anymore because my brain kept feeding me this lie that I accepted as my truth. I kept going. stuffing down anything and everything joyful and letting bitter, hateful, resentful curmudgeon Bianca bubble to the surface. I think I just have to put it in perspective, though, and know that it's not my fault that I took dramatic twists and turns to be on this stage before you tonight. Endometriosis in the beginning stages of my life truly just eroded at a personality that I never had time to develop. And 18 years later, it's still hard to know that that experience was my experience. And it's even harder to know that after 18 years, I'm still picking up the pieces of a little girl that was never put together in the first place. I think that I block out the past a lot of the time because I hate that I had to keep who I was and what I was going through a secret. And I guess I started to hate it so much that I wrote a whole show about it, just to fully come out of my chronic illness closet. People just never understood because they were never given the opportunity to. I mean, I wasn't even given the opportunity to. And it's taken so long to even just be able to describe how I feel in my own body. But I guess, in addition to being an artist, endometriosis has given me a major chronic responsibility to share. And it's hard to describe how I feel. And maybe you won't even understand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Broken bottles and flames, broken glass coursing through my veins, a promise of pleasure, but all I feel is pain. A promise of pleasure, but you don't feel the same. You don't feel the same. You can't feel my pain. For you, it is perfect. For me, it will never know, never know. You'll never feel the same. Everyone heals with time. Everyone heals with time. But how do I get my body connected back to my mind? Oh, everyone heals with time. But you don't feel the same. No, 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 no. You can't feel my pain. For you, it is perfect. For me, it will never know, never know. It will never feel the same. For you, it is perfect for me. We'll never know, never know. It will never feel the same. But it's perfect for me. Never know, never know. It will never feel the same. I guess one good thing that came out of my earlier experiences with my endometriosis is that I started becoming an artist. A few weeks after that pool incident, I started taking voice lessons. I also started writing songs like the opening number of the show. This was also around the time that I adopted my bestest friend, my kitty cat Jupiter, who would become my rock for the next 14 years as I figured out how to survive all this. The rest of middle school was pretty okay. Everyone else got their period, which was nice. But then high school and college came and everyone just started thirsting for sex. Sex for many people is sex equals great, right? Sex equals good. Sex equals lit, even. Sex equals the only thing in this world. Sex equals my morning, noon, and night. Like, sex has got some of you all in a vicious chokehold. Vicious. I remember when I used to be on dating apps in college, just fucking around and finding out. I would tell people that I was a virgin, and they would be like, oh my God, you need sex. You need it. No wonder you are so depressed. It's the only natural thing in this world. You need sex. I'm so sorry. I have a chronic inflammatory pelvic disease. It is actually not natural. For Bianca, actually, sex equals NA, or not applicable. Sex equals not very good. Sex equals not very lit. And I'm just so okay with that. I'm living my life perfectly fine without sex, so maybe you all need to have a come to Jesus with that, because my God, the length some of you will all go to have some sexual intercourse, my God. But obviously, my opinions of sex have obviously been tremendously colored by my having endometriosis. I didn't start making sense of that until an endometriosis gynecologist that I was working with inquired if I had ever been molested as a child, because there is apparently a correlation between that and developing endometriosis later in life. Well, actually, did you know that sexual abuse as well as emotional abuse in childhood is linked to development of endometriosis later in life? Oh, my clipboard, that's fine, because we got to read from the big book of science now. The big book of science, yes, let's see what the articles say. Independent of clinical comorbidities, maltreatment during childhood correlates with an impaired function of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis and a chronic inflammatory state. Translation: no matter what other health issues someone might have, being mistreated emotionally and sexually as a child is linked to problems with a part of the brain that helps control stress and hormones. These problems can lead to ongoing inflammation in the body, resulting in endometriosis. It's very fascinating. After the gynecologist asked me this question, though, I was like, no, that hasn't happened to me. And then I invited a guy, named Guy, yes, over to my apartment, and consensual lines were so very crossed, because obviously if you invite someone over to your apartment, that obviously means that you will have sex with them. And after he left, I had a nauseating feeling like something like this had happened before. Very traumatizing deja vu. Those memories came flooding back to me, where I could articulate that, yes, I was molested as a child by my friends, like age 6, 7. I guess going through puberty at a young age and having boobs by the age of 7 is just, very interesting, very intriguing. I guess it would then make sense for my friends to want to come over and have play dates with me and practice having sex with me in my own bed. I guess having my friends tell me that they wouldn't be my friends anymore if I told anyone caused stress to build up in my body as I was going through puberty. And I guess enough stress got built up to create a whole ass chronic illness with no cure. And just being a black child in America definitely did not help either. All the cards were stacked against me, but what can you do? It's very interesting how sexual abuse can be linked to endometriosis later in life. #science. #learning. And I know that I'm not alone in my experience. It happened to me, and no, I have not figured out how to bounce back from it. And I would really like to figure that out. It would help me so much if I just figured out, how do I get my body connected back to my mind? You see what I did there? I sang a part of the song. I told you a lyrical origin story. I am pretty clever. And I guess if I figured that out, then maybe I would have sex. Could have sex, but also probably not, because sex isn't great for everyone. Some of us have only ever been assaulted. Sex isn't great for everyone, but I'm glad it's great for you. So yeah, I don't have sex. 27 years old and never have. I do opinions of sex are because I am asexual or because of my chronic illness. We're just flip-flopping back and forth between those two, but should land on an answer soon and get back to you. Perhaps I am asexual because of my chronic illness. Fascinating, very fascinating. But there's also no rush to figure this out because I am not infatuated with sex. But you know, I would like to do it one day. I have fantasies, but also must continue to practice intimacy with myself, which up until recently did not exist. I mean, it was sort of hard after bleeding in the pool at age 11 to sort of practice any sort of being nice to myself in any capacity. Let us discuss this upsetting story in more detail, because I think it's important to note how that swimming pool incident launched me into years of alcohol abuse. Hashtag sharing is healing. That day in the pool was the day that I know that I started to violently hate myself, actively and relentlessly. I blamed myself for what happened. Like, why couldn't I just suck all the blood back up my vagina and do swimming pool class like a normal, regular person and not have to use pads and tampons and all this other shit? Why can't I just be normal? Normal. This idea of normal has always plagued my mind. But truly, when the swimming pool incident happened, I was only 11 years old with virtually no understanding of menstrual flow regulation. Of course, I wouldn't have been able to suck up all the blood back up my vagina. This is just not even possible. I mean, I also wasn't even diagnosed with endometriosis until I was 21. 21, yes. It takes on average 10 years for people to finally get an endometriosis diagnosis after being called crazy or drug addicts or delusional and making up their pain. Dumb idiot doctors. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that all that back and forth from doctor to doctor and not being taken seriously and bleeding in pools in front of your entire 6th grade gym class and hyper-masculine gym teacher can lead some folks to some serious suicidal ideation. And that day in the pool started a snowball effect of bad suicidal thoughts that avalanched when I started drinking. It wasn't until the evening of my senior prom where I had my first shot of Tito's vodka, and all ideas of taking care of myself just went out the window. What a lot of people from my college life will have a hard time believing is that before this shot of Tito's vodka, high school Bianca was like, no, alcohol bad, drugs bad. Not for Bianca. Not because I cared about taking care of my chronic illness. No, remember, I wasn't diagnosed with endometriosis until I was 21. I didn't do all those classic high school things because I was a square. But I quickly transformed into a more drunker trapezoid when I realized that drinking completely made my emotional and physical pain disappear. I loved it. I loved being able to transform into the Bianca that forgot that she had this thing inside her. Forgot about everything bad. Drinking gave me the permission to fully feel joy on the inside. But from the outside, it was really fucked up. I mean, that bitter, hateful, resentful, curmudgeon Bianca blossomed into something stronger with every drink. And many people loved that version of Bianca and would gravitate towards her because she was funny and blunt and charismatic and cool and would party hard. And all that partying only brought more shame and thoughts of suicide, and those thoughts of shame and thoughts of suicide only led to more drinking. Like when I went to this prestigious opera program in Germany the summer after I graduated from college. I had just finished a month-long run of The Marriage of Figaro, singing the comedic role of Marcellina. That's me with the feather duster. And that time in my life presented me with a very real and scary premise of life outside of my collegiate bubble, and how to even get a foothold in this industry with a Bachelor of Arts in Music. It was the first time in my life also where anxiety was added to my mix of emotions. That post-graduation doom where you truly don't know what you're supposed to do next. So I would skip rehearsals to sleep because my body was so inflamed from my drinking, and then I would go out at night to drink. And then at the closing night cast party, I decided to drink more than I ever had before because Truly what was supposed to happen next. Drinking was the only thing that completely got rid of all the pain, even if just for one night. And that was magical. And there are consequences to such magic. And a lot of reevaluating that takes place when you wake up after binge drinking in a foreign country, not knowing how you got to bed, and viciously packing to make your train and almost throwing up on the train, and then making it to your hotel room at 6 p.m. and shutting off all the lights because you're still hungover from the night before. And even after all that, I still came back to New York and won an open bar with my friends that I gladly accepted because I still wanted to be pain-free and normal. But of course, drinking made me neither pain-free nor normal. It just made me depressed. It made my suicidal thoughts worse, made my endometriosis worse. Like, alcohol is a major poison, but to an endometriosis person, it is like death, poison death, because you are adding inflammation to an already inflammatory process. Everything just got so much worse. And then 7 months later, the pandemic hit, and I was so graciously given the time to confront those issues and fix them. And I so loathe that we have to be the ones to fix our own problems. Even if they were given to us by a chronic illness, we have to be the ones to implement healthy coping skills to get us from point A to point B or D or LMNOP or wherever the fuck we're going. That Germany experience showed me that we have such a chronic responsibility to take accountability for ourselves, to show up, to stay, even when our brain is telling us to do the opposite. But how do you even do that? Like, I know I didn't know how. And even the things I knew to do to make my life easier, I just tossed to the side because alcohol was normal. Alcohol is easier. You also just get to a point with your chronic illness where there are no answers and nothing else is working, so you turn to drinking. I can now look back at that time in my life and know unequivocally that Bianca plus alcohol equals bad suicidal ideation, very bad endometriosis flare-ups, and as of this year, anaphylactic shock. Oh, yeah. It's comforting to know that I am safely on the other side of nights of 12 shots, 3 Aperol spritzes, and Lord knows even how much wine. I know my endometriosis thanks me for it. Bianca of the past always was just like, shout it out, twist off the cap and let it drown you out. Can't seem to stop, never enough, never full. Finding strength at the bottom of the bottle. But then, during the pandemic, it was like a little voice, like Bianca of the future, kept popping up, speaking to me, saying, time to ascend. They say the start is the best place to begin. Put down the sword, now struggling ain't no sin. It's hard to cross when you don't know your way. So you learn to let it go. All you think you know, you open up your heart and the walls stop caving in. You glow, decay and flow into your best friend. You find a reason to love again and stay. beginning. Stay. I want you to stay. Dreams do come true, and so you learn to take it slow. Change bubbling inside that you just can't comprehend. You glow, decay, and float into your best friend. 'Cause there's so many reasons to love again. Stay. I want you to stay. I want you to stay. I want you to stay. And stay I shall. Part of fixing my relationship with alcohol in 2020 was learning the full and true nature of my endometriosis and learning how to fully and truly take care of this disease, which is on the CDC's list of top 20 most painful diseases to live with. And learning how to subtract alcohol and add healing habits was hard. I mean, it still is hard, very hard to stay consistent. It's very hard to stay consistent with anything when you have a chronic illness. There's just like so much to do to maybe feel like 80% well for an hour or two. For example, this is the list of all the things that I have to do to stay 80% well throughout the days. Yes, it's a lot. Things that I need to do or things that need to happen. Number one, have a tremendous amount of luck come my way, like that of someone with no generational trauma or curses. Starting off strong. Number two, exercise every day, but not too much that I stress my body out and create stress lesions from my endometriosis, causing more pain that is debilitating and will 9 times out of 10 leave me bedridden. Number three, keep up to date with various doctor's appointments and specialists, making sure my endometriosis isn't getting out of hand. And sometimes shelling out a $75 copay to have a 3-minute conversation about staying on a specific medicine. Number four, water, obviously. Number five, eat a gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, alcohol-free, unprocessed food diet, and hope I don't go into anaphylactic shock, which actually happened twice earlier this year. Number six, take 300 milligrams of magnesium glycinate for the nerve pain. Number seven, take 2,000 milligrams of turmeric pills or 1 turmeric latte for the antioxidants. Number eight, take 1 65 milligram slow iron pill as to not hurt my tummy tum-tum and to fortify the red blood cells. Number 9, birth control pills so that my uterine cysts don't overgrow and burst in my body, which has happened before. Number 10, antidepressant. Self-explanatory. Number 11, foam roll my leg muscles. Number 12, conduct an ancient Mayan or Vigo massage on my abdomen at least once, but would be better if it was twice a day. This is real. I'll teach it all to you afterwards. This is very real. It's very helpful. I don't do it though. Number 13, regulate my emotions as to not cause stress lesions in my body. Number 14, get good sleep to heal in the nighttime. Number 15, Don't drink coffee, which as a teacher is not going to happen. You get it? Yes. Number 16, eliminate stress from home and work and all of life, again, to combat those stress lesions. Number 17, speak kindly to myself as to not put stress on my body from my verbal words because of the goddamn stress lesions. Number 18, live with at least 2 cats because humans are infuriating sometimes and exacerbate, you guessed it, the stress lesions. So just so we're all very clear, all 18 of these things absolutely do not happen every day. I'm lucky if I do 5 of them. Sometimes I do like half of one, because sometimes the chronic illness is just chronic illnessing and prevents you from doing what you need to do. But also, most of the time, 'tis I that can get in the way of achieving what I need to do. Can't blame the chronic illness for everything. It's just hard because it feels like endometriosis is inside of me, right? And it often feels like it is me. And in order to take care of my endometriosis, I have to take care of myself. And to take care of myself, I have to take care of my endometriosis. And it can be so hard to take care of yourself. Like 18 things is too many things. And I'm very sure that I'm missing many more things, but I simply cannot be expected to do all of these things to feel maybe 80% well. And what is even harder is when I fall short of taking care of myself and just forget about that list entirely and let my chronic illness run rampant and accepting the chronic responsibility of forgiving those shortcomings. Oh, it's a tall order. I remember I first dabbled with this idea of self-forgiveness when I started drinking in high school. It was maybe after like the 3rd night of binge drinking that the weight of what I had put myself through hit the morning after. And I got so desperate not to feel that shitty feeling anymore that I looked up a how to forgive yourself video on YouTube. And I remember I looked up a video specifically because I just needed a voice to drown out the evil hungover ones that were swirling around in my head. But there was also another part of me that was like, why should I feel guilty? I was in pain all the time with no answer as to why, so I continued to drink. And of course, every morning I did not feel good afterwards. Especially the morning I got blackout drunk at a summer stock cast party and had my high school age little sister come pick me up. A suffocating guilt lingered after that. That took months to get over. And my relationship with alcohol and how it affects my chronic illness isn't the only thing that has forced me to face this very scary idea of self-forgiveness. I have done things that I'm very embarrassed of and some things that I deeply regret. Like one morning, my junior year of college, I peed on my floor because I slept naked and I didn't have enough time to get dressed and walk so far down the hallway to the bathroom. Or, oh dear, this one's bad. In high school, when I started going out to dinner with friends, and I was only tipping 10% because I didn't realize that you have to double the number after you move the decimal. Oh God. Or my junior year of college, when I wrote down very mean things about people in a notebook out of profound insecurity and lack of self-awareness and lack of emotional regulation, and then had that notebook be found and turned into a member of campus administration, forcing my friends to insist that I take a semester off from college to better myself. It took years to learn how to forgive myself for that one. Some fucked up shit. But let's pull the room again, because I'm sure there are many of us who have done something fucked up. My clipboard's over there, so I'm going to use the big book of science. Who here has done something really fucked up? We all have. That's the point. We all have. Yes, we all have. And we all have fallen very short, very, very short of practicing that very hard thing to do, self-forgiveness. I would argue that self-forgiveness is the hardest thing to do in this world. Well, actually, no. That and living in America and not growing violently angry about the political system. Yeah. And geometry. Oh, geometry. Why do I have to prove that a triangle is a triangle? It's a triangle. Anyway, once I started to commit myself to the chronic responsibility of self-forgiveness and taking care of myself, those horror stories from the past just faded away. And I started to create new, beautiful ones. Like when I stopped eating gluten, I was like, oh wow, there is no longer a fire burning all inside my stomach all the time. This is incredible. Taking care of yourself becomes so fun. Seeing how many days you can set a goal and then crush it for yourself. Waking up and going on a walk instead of throwing up in the bathroom of a brunch establishment because you drank too much the night before. It starts to become so fun taking care of yourself because it makes you feel good. Like opposite of soul-crushing shame good. Opposite of chronic illness flare-up good. Like when I'm doing all of these things, I am on top of the motherfucking world, even if I do just feel 80%. 80% is the new 1,000,000% when you have endometriosis. And I slip up and feel negative 1,000,000% on so many days. But I have learned that we all have a chronic responsibility to get back up, to go again. And most importantly, oh Lord, we have a chronic, and I do mean a chronic responsibility to not be so damn fucking hard on ourselves. Our worst acts and our worst days and those horror stories from the past that can sometimes replay on loop in our minds do not make us bad people. I've heard it said that A plus B does not equal C. And I hope that we can all remember this. Yes, for example, if we substitute A, Bianca had a whole notebook situation at college, plus B, Bianca scaring her sister and getting blackout drunk, does not equal C. Bianca is the worst person that has ever lived and needs to put herself down day in and day out. Yeah? Or if we substitute Bianca does not take her magnesium supplements that are essential for the pain in her pelvis to be somewhat bearable, plus Bianca having a terrible endometriosis flare-up does not equal Bianca should return to her drinking ways. A plus B does not equal C. This is what we all have to chronically remember. Because forgiving ourselves is a part of taking care of ourselves. Ooh, yeah. Maybe that's number 19 on the list. Yeah. Because no matter what those crazy voices in your head say, you just gotta F-O-R-G-I-V. Even when I fuck up, I am worthy. You gotta clap your hands together and say, praise me. Ain't nothing in this life getting the better of me. I'll take nothing in this life as a guarantee. So I let it all loose and let it just be. F-O-R-G-I-V. Eternally grateful for the me that's me. Mistakes will be made, smiles turn to frowns. Accountability can't ever get you down, so just settle it down. Cause the voices in your head can get mighty loud, so just bump this tune and drown them all out. Settle it down. F-O-R-G-I-V. Even when I fuck up, I am worthy. You gotta clap your hands together and say, praise me. Ain't nothing in this life getting the better of me. I'll take nothing in this life as a guarantee. So I let it all loose and let it just be. F-O-R-G-I-V. Eternally grateful for the me that is me. You gotta get that shit together, turn your life around. Settle it down. Cause the voices in your head can get mighty loud. So just bump this tune and drown them all out. Settle it down and get your shit together. F-O-R-G-I-V. Even when I fuck up, You gotta clap your hands together and say, praise me. Ain't nothing in this world getting the best of me. There's a guarantee, so they don't help you to let it go. Oh, I be eternally grateful for the mission. Chronic responsibility to our health, especially in America. It is so unfair that in this American healthcare system, we with chronic illnesses have a constant chronic responsibility to be constantly advocating for our own wellness, especially when it comes to reproductive rights. Like my God in Himmel, the way I know more about endometriosis than most doctors. One gynecologist I went to truly said out loud to my face, "Oh wow, you know so much more about endometriosis than me.
You're kidding.
And also, you're a lesbian, right?" I'm pansexual, actually. But you wouldn't know because you didn't ask. Foolish doctor. So it amazes me, but does not surprise me that we with chronic illnesses have to be religiously showing up for ourselves. Because Neil Armstrong, what are these people doing? And because I have met many a foolish doctor, I've had to take it upon myself to read countless health books and articles to try to get some answers about my chronic illness. The health books. Yeah, thank you. I love you. Emily Giselle on the Yes. Countless health books and articles trying to get some answers about my endometriosis. And they've all been very helpful with easy lifestyle changes to make. You know, be dairy-free, exercise, recipes, meal plans, be gluten-free. You know, the list. There is one thing, though, that has popped up in every single health book and article that has been so highly praised, and at least for Bianca, that one thing is very hard to do, let alone try. Build a spiritual practice. And I do mean every single health book and article I have read discusses how a spiritual practice is the key to healing chronic pain. But my whole thing is like, fuck that. Like I've always said since I was 9 years old that if God were real, then all of these terrible things would have never happened to me. And fuck all that he's testing us, blah, blah, blah. Spirituality just makes my skin crawl. To ask myself to believe that someone or something out there has got my back goes against that curmudgeon filter that little Bianca created. And in a way, discounts all the terrible things that little Bianca went through. So in conclusion, spirituality, fuck that. But then, in 2023, I started to experience an emotion that I had never truly come into contact with. Grief. And it quickly became very clear to me that I would need to develop some sort of spiritual something to help out with that. Because grief is hard. Watching people go through grief, going through it yourself, and all that unprocessed is delicious food for my endometriosis, creating so much pain. And that is why emotional regulation is so important for an optimal physical health. And it is hard for me to admit, but emotional regulation is linked to a spiritual practice. And I, even after such therapy, still struggle with emotional regulation, especially when it comes to new experiences. I just keep on experiencing like new life things for the first time. And I'm like, stop, enough. The life thing in 2023 that really slapped me across the face with grief was when I had to put my bestest friend, my rock, my kitty cat Jupiter down. That new experience that I still don't really know how to fully process led me down nights of sleepless nights, bad endometriosis flare-ups, and very bad eating habits. And I know spirituality doesn't always have to mean Jesus things. People talk about the crystals and the spirits and I guess that there maybe something out there. But then why did they invent chronic diseases and war and Donald Trump and very, very excellent kitty cats dying? I think that grief is one of those emotions that is more powerful than the others in its own special twisted way, and therefore affects the body in its own special twisted way. For example, did you know that when someone with endometriosis, where is my eraser? Who cares? Do you know that when someone with endometriosis experiences a difficult emotion like grief, these inflammatory proteins called cytokine are released? They release in what is called a cytokine storm, causing immense pain and sometimes flu-like symptoms. And the death of my kitty cat definitely brought on many a cytokine storm. Actually, let me clarify something. The next time I can't come out or need to cancel plans on you because of my endometriosis, which by the way is always, 9 times out of 10, if I've canceled plans on you, it is because I cannot get out of bed. But the next time that happens, I'm going to say, I don't have my glasses on. I can't do the glasses bit. That's so funny. It's literally so funny. The next time I will say, oh, so sorry. I'm in the middle of a cytokine storm. We'll have to reconnect when the storm passes. Yeah. No, I don't know if I've developed any sort of spiritual practice that greatly helps my chronic illness, and I can't even stand up here before you this evening and tell you that I'm committed to my chronic responsibility of finding one, because that shit is hard and doesn't make any fucking sense. I think what I do know is that writing this show and these songs has greatly helped me to process the grief of my kitty cat passing and in turn have a better relationship with my chronic illness. Because bottling up of emotions is bad. It's very bad. But when we bottle up emotions that we have yet to fully experience, like grief, well, that's just a recipe for inflammatory disaster. And we can't be having that anymore. No. So feel the feelings and know that they can be felt even if your body doesn't know what to do with them. Maybe that's the chronic responsibility and the spirituality. To just feel the motherfucking feelings. I can say that another part of my spiritual practice that has greatly helped in me process the passing of my kitty Jupiter is imagining that my Jupiter is up at the Rainbow Bridge, connected to heaven, and he looks down at me and he says, meow, 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 meow. Oh, let me translate. He says, you know, I had to go. I know it's not any better. I need you to know that I'll love you forever. Yes, I swear, just 'cause I'm gone doesn't mean I'm not there. I got time to spare to show you all the love I've left to give. In the trees, the air, in the grass at your feet, rainbows beautiful and rare. You will find that I'm not going nowhere. I'll tell you about it when I see you there. See you there. I see you there. I'll tell you about it when I see you there. hurting, and I know you'll stay strong. It's okay if you're still hurting. Go on and cry, but don't you dare think 'cause I'm gone that it means I'm not there. I've got time and to spare to show you all the love I've left to give. In the trees, in the air, in the grass, your feet, rainbows beautiful and rare. You will find that I'm not going nowhere. I'll tell you about it when I see you there. Rain falls to morning dew, cardinals red the ocean blue. From the Milky Way, I will find my way back to you. In the sun and in the stars, right inside your broken heart. If you look for me, promise there'll be. In the trees, in the air, in the grass at your feet, rainbows beautiful and rare. You will find that I'm not going nowhere. I'll tell you about it when I see you there. See you see you I'll tell you about it when I see you there. I'll tell you all about it when I see you. Ah, love. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. I think the hardest part about Jupiter's passing is that it really does feel like I lost a very close partner. Through the age of 12 to 26, he was with me through every step of my chronic illness journey. Jupiter was, in a lot of ways, my boyfriend. The only one I've had, probably the only one I will ever have, because relationships aren't exactly easy to come by when you have a chronic inflammatory pelvic disease. Over this past year, I've sort of sworn off ever being in a relationship. It used to plague me so much that I hadn't, and became the entire center of my comedic persona in my stand-up group in college. But now, in my old age, no more, because I don't want to have sex. And it, again, at least has only been in my experience that all anyone ever wants to do is have sex. And just a reminder for those of you that I know have forgotten, sex isn't great for everyone. Some of us have only ever been assaulted. Sex isn't great for everyone, but I'm glad it's great for you. Truthfully, I am a little embarrassed, though, that at the age of 27, I can only say that the relationship I've been in is with a cat. But I gotta remember, no hiding tonight. This is the full and true Bianca, and perhaps I'm not alone in my lack of human relationship. Yes, we're going to pull the room again, and this is very intricate. Okay, now who's here among us has been in 5 or more romantic relationships during their lifetime? Think hard now, people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. We might be split on this. We might not be connecting in this way, but that's okay. Now, how many people have been in 2 to 5 romantic relationships during their lifetime? Oh, more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now, how many people have been in just one relationship? Love that. Love it too. Look at that. Now, how many people have been in 0 romantic relationships? Connection! That's with me too. Look at that. It's not just me. I love it. I love it. But I won't lie. I still hope one day for a romantic relationship, perhaps one that does include sexual intercourse. Earlier this year, I saw this TikTok of a 42-year-old woman talking about how she had never been in a romantic relationship, how she had never been the object of anyone's desire. And in the comment section, there were various people at multiple different ages talking about how they too had never been in a relationship. And the woman in the TikTok was talking about how she still hopes for one, wants for one, and at first I was like, this woman is dumb. To have not been in a relationship has been so great for my life so far. Definitely not trying to be on course for a nasty divorce like my parents in over 50% of marriages. But also, perhaps we have a chronic responsibility to talk about taboo things. Yeah, so perhaps she's not dumb. And perhaps we also have a chronic responsibility to daydream, to picture, to manifest and hope and know that the good things we want in this life can happen. They can come, even if they take 50 million years to get here. And it is also okay, and perhaps not dumb, to get carried away in the daydreaming of it all. This is what I struggle with the most, especially having a disease that affects my sexual organ. I rarely have feelings of those kinds, and if I do, I just I suppress them and get really scared. I think the real reason why I've sworn off being in a relationship this past year is that through all 5 of my assaults and childhood molestation, I have felt like such an object for people. Many years ago in college, someone invited me over to their dorm room to hang out, and it was just assumed that I was going to be romantically sexual with them. Like, okay, I'm just here for your pleasure. I see. People don't realize that that is crazy. They get offended by me. It's weird, and that is what's really dumb. And I know that I have a lot to work on to be able to throw myself into situations that I'm afraid of. I just wish that so many of us would remember that so many of us are afraid or have chronic illnesses that we are hiding in an attempt to be normal, and we should just acknowledge that instead of sucking each other's elbows or whatever you all do while engaging in conversation. Anyway, yes, the chronic responsibility to daydream, to picture, to manifest what we wish for in this world. So difficult to commit yourself to get your hopes up, even if it's oh so very, 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 oh so very scary and romantic. Ah, fine. I guess I'll try it right now. Like, I don't know, maybe there can be a world where I met a man in the prime of my life with a kind soul and piercing eyes and a gentleness that I had never been privileged to. Took a while to draw me in, ice got broken, got to skin. The past kept me feeling strange. With only unkind fire to say. Wished me go, I prayed and prayed. To my chagrin, I heard I'll stay, make way for this unwanted mystery that I dream of having when I close my eyes. Too easy to care, sick of lonely nights. From myself, fighting for my destiny. 'Cause his eyes said, stay with me. Just stay with me. Don't gotta think about it. Better yet, don't think about it. Everything gets a little better when you do. Don't you just up and see the stars. Rest your head upon my heart. I won't let you ignore it anymore. Just know my love means so much more. So he took them out, he shot them down, left all the secrets in my head, bleeding out in rays of glory. And for a while I thought I knew my love was right, my path is true. Baby, you gotta get out of your old story and stay with me. Just stay with me. Don't gotta think about it. Better yet, don't think about it. Everything gets a little better when you do. Why don't you just not think about it? Take a deep breath and live without it. 'Cause everything gets a little easier when I'm with you. You said, I know you're scared to start. Travel down a road that's long and far away from all the precious good that you've never known. Just look up and see the stars. Rest your head upon my heart. I won't let you ignore it anymore. Just know my love means so much more.
I guess that kind of relationship could maybe at one point be possible for Bianca. It's nice to daydream and think about, I guess. A world where every single core belief I've created for myself is changed into something better. A world where I can be romantically loved and cared for without needing to be anyone or anything else but myself. A world where my partner understands my chronic illness and understands the limitations it has put and continues to put on me, and still loves me no matter what. And I can be myself with this person and not ashamed of this disease. But that hasn't happened yet. I've had the life I've had and the experiences I've had, and that makes me so worthy of a relationship where I'm not just this thing for others to get pleasure out of, because just in case sex isn't great for everyone. No, some of us have only ever been assaulted or have chronic diseases that cause our stress lesions to flare up if we have an orgasm. Sex isn't great for everyone, but I'm glad it's great for you. I should actually clarify, I'm not glad that it's great for you. It's not exactly a great feeling to watch others have a great time with something that has historically not been so great for you. Sarcasm. Moral center of curmudgeon Bianca. It's just easier, to be sarcastic and secretly mad about things than feign happiness for others. Am I right? Or am I right? And I know I can be happy for others. I have been in the past. Curmudgeon Bianca is just hard to fight sometimes, but I guess it's good to fight her because all that daydreaming about my perfect romantic life was nice. So maybe I am glad that sex is great for you. And perhaps one day it could be great for me too. Well, actually, I just assumed that sex was great for you. I shouldn't have done that. So is there anyone perhaps here that has not had a good relationship, a good experience with sex? Anyone at all? Sure, all of us. Oh no, this area, we're having great sex. This is good. So much data we've collected today. We all have chronic illnesses. We're sort of split on the sex and the relationships, so that's okay. Yeah, we've all done something fucked up. This is true. Yeah. And with this information, we can draw a numerous amount of conclusions. Yeah. Conclusions could be drawn, leading us to answers. Yeah. Answers that could shape the very fabric of the future. A future, perhaps, where different slices of cake would line the streets for us to eat, and we could have universal health care. We also learned so much about chronic illnesses and endometriosis, and how over 60% of the population lives with at least one chronic illness. I think it's also very important to remember that a fair amount of those chronic illnesses are sort of silent, unseen. You cannot tell. There are people that have known me for years that would have never known about my endometriosis if not for this show. You know someone who has endometriosis. Me, obviously, but also someone else. Because as we also learned, 1 out of 10 people with uteruses have endometriosis. Do you know 10 people? You know someone who has endometriosis. Yes. I think, though, the most important and significant piece of information that I've taken from this show is that this thing that has made me bedridden for days, that has lived inside of me for the better part of my life, ravaged my insides, has also made me an artist. And Bianca, as an artist, is unbelievably hysterically funny. Yes, and all that time being bedridden has made me a lover of movies and television and acting and storytelling. Endometriosis has filled me with such a depth of understanding of chronic pain when it comes to the human condition, both physical and mental. Endometriosis has made me a profound singer and writer. Endometriosis has taught me how to funnel my emotions into art. Messy, imperfect, excellent art. Endometriosis has given me that signature Bianca twist, that pop of zaniness that is, and only is, Bianca.
Yep.
Endometriosis has made me Bianca. And for the longest time, I was so ungrateful for it. Like it was some sort of chronic curse, which it feels like from time to time, very, very, very often from time to time. But I think in addition to the chronic responsibilities my endometriosis has given me, the chronic responsibility to forgive myself, the chronic responsibility to daydream, the chronic responsibility to take accountability for myself and my illness, the chronic responsibility to process with spirituality, whatever that is, the chronic responsibility to stay on this planet and tell my story. In addition to all of those, I think the biggest chronic responsibility that I'm going to commit myself to going forward is remembering how the story of that 9-year-old girl who just got her period brought both positives and negatives. A year after the swimming pool incident happened, I got the lead in the school musical, so. Too long have I only harped on the negatives, which has been no good for my overall health. I mean, this chronic illness, which has given me so much chronic responsibility, wrote this freaking show. Yeah. So there are many positives and negatives and life and death and loss and sadness and so much profound joy. And I am overjoyed by my life, by my art, by myself, and this wonderful MCS community. And the 4.5 years I have spent on this stage discovering and rediscovering myself in so many ways. So if you want to get to my level of mental litness, you just got to learn how to coexist this long disaster. Stop pining for happily ever after, 'cause you know, or so you've been told, the happiness away from the journey goes. Evil voices just complicate your complexion. Keep them out, don't be needing all that deception. You decide that life is a price. It ain't gonna feel like it all the time, but I've been I'm like speechless right now. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is definitely a work in progress, and if you're feeling constructively critical, there's a QR code. I made a little quick Google Doc just to get some feedback. I would love your feedback. Because yeah, March is Endometriosis Awareness Month, so I'm gonna revamp this for March. Thank you so much for coming. Please do not leave without saying goodbye. I need to hug every single one of you.
Clark Kent, how you doing?
Great.
Thank you for watching on the live stream. And